Please be advised that everything in my video is purely for entertainment purposes. These are purely my thoughts and opinions and are subjective. I must advise you to please do your own research. All media users found on the public domain and are fair use and fair dealings. Hi, I'm back and I have got some epic stuff to go over with you. Firstly, I know some of you will notice this, especially if you watch me on a bigger screen. I've recently split my lip open. My dog jumped up as I was bending down and playing with her and she headbutted me in my lip, and it keeps splitting open when I talk. So I didn't really want to cover it up with lipstick or anything because it's pretty unhygienic. So it's just lots of blistex on there. So yes, I'm fine. It's just a split lip. Thank you to Lucia. I'd love to tell you exciting stories about faraway places my husband and I have been travelling to, or, these really cool Airbnb places that I like to share with you. I'd love to just show you amazing hillsides and countrysides, but I can't. And I can't really report that I've done a lot because I haven't, because there's nowhere to go. Lockdown, definitely, I've had enough. We've all had enough. Now they're talking about new variant strains and stuff. Just give everyone a vaccine, let us go back to normal. Because if I have to spend much longer in this house, I'm going to be one of those people that you read about that spontaneously combusted. There'd just be an ash cloud sitting here where I once was. So speaking of ash clouds, there's pretty much a huge one that has just landed over Buckingham Palace. It started a couple of days ago. Naturally, Meghan and Catherine have been in the media. I mean, what a shocker, eh? If anything, it is always predictable. But I'll tell you something that's not predictable. Poor Archie, and I will say poor Archie, he's not even 2 yet, or 3, and he's been dragged into the media yet again. His name is everywhere, all because of an amendment to his birth certificate. And you think, well, and what's so exciting about that? It's pretty much not exciting. It's strange to bizarre and bewildering, especially to Buckingham Palace, but it's more what's happened since this news got announced. It was reported that the wonderful Lady Colin Campbell, most of us know her as Lady C, discovered a change, an edit, which was on Archie's birth certificate. Archie was born on the 6th of May, and this amendment, the birth was registered on the 17th, but a matter of 11 days after his birth was registered, there was a change. There's been an amendment. Mainly, the big story is that Meghan has had her Christian names removed from the birth certificate. Why? We do not know at this point. It's a very bizarre thing to do. Some people have said it's ego. Some people have said it was a nod to Princess Diana. Now, the reason why people say that, which is just ridiculous, no matter what Meghan does, she could fart in a bathtub and someone would be like, oh, that's so like Princess Di. It's just a load of nonsense that they put out into trying to compare because they know it's clickbait, because they know people get really riled up when they put Diana and Meghan in the same sentence. On William's and Harry's birth certificates, it does admittedly say, Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, but, she was actually a princess, rather than just taking her husband's titles, which Catherine and Meghan both do at the moment. Catherine will be a princess, but she's not quite a princess yet. Now, back to the birth certificate. It originally read, Rachel, Meghan, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. The edit was then changed to remove Rachel Meghan, so now it just says Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. It's very bizarre. I don't understand 11 days. What could have happened 11? Well, I mean, it was practically a month later, wasn't it? Archie was born at the beginning of May. His birth registered on the 17th, so around about the 5th of June. Someone decided that they were going to change his birth certificate. Why? Why would you take your names off? Bearing in mind, Meghan is always talking about how much of a feminist she is, and she wants to protect her child. So why on earth would Meghan take her actual names off her child's birth certificate? Look at it this way. If Harry keeps the dukedom and Meghan and Harry divorce, which is quite probable, if Harry retains that dukedom and remarries, his next wife will be the Duchess of Sussex. So it's kind of taken away her identity of such an important document. I don't have children myself, but there is no way that I would want any part of my name removed from my child's birth certificate. You want it to be known to the world, he is my child. So then more stories came out with people trying to piece together this strange anomaly. What on earth has this been done? No other royal mother has ever done this. But they then implied that they were trying to snub the royal family by doing this. That doesn't even make sense to me. How is Meghan removing her Christian names off her child's birth certificate going to be a snub to the royal family? I don't think they'd even really care. They probably didn't even notice. Then someone else said, oh, it's because of they're trying to make a swipe at Catherine because Catherine's name's on her children's birth certificates. Oh my God, what a shock. Mother's full name is on their baby's birth certificates. Wow, wow, well done. It doesn't make sense. Then people said it was down to royal protocols. Okay, so if that's the case, because Diana was, just as I said, Her Royal Highness the Princess of Wales, so Meghan became Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. But Diana was going to be queen. She was mother to the heir to the throne. Catherine will be queen consort, but she can have her Christian names on their birth certificates. So as I said, it's just all these stories coming out, and none of it makes one dot of sense to me anyway. If anyone would like to explain this to me, please do. But this is where it gets stranger. Less than 24 hours of this being, lots of people talking about it, from royal reporters, chat show TV hosts, people are all talking about it. Less than 24 hours, Meghan's spokesperson informed the world that Meghan did not actually do this change herself. No, no, no. This was then backed up by a tweet by none other, chief trumpeter Omid Scobie. The statement read that of course she wouldn't want to be nameless on her child's birth certificate. Nameless, voiceless. She's just a way of making that kind of like swipe again, isn't it? But never mind. But her spokesperson, which is either Omid directly or Sunshine Sachs or whoever her PR team is these days, went on to throw a grenade over Buckingham Palace. The wording actually used was, the palace dictated this. I don't know whether they mean they dictated it to force Meghan to do it, but that is the implication here by using the word they dictated to her. Of course she wouldn't want to be nameless on her child's birth certificate. It was dictated. And it's that whole theme again, isn't it? Royal family bad, Meghan Markle victim. But it was clearly a definite, it wasn't me, the palace made me do it. Very similar to what's happening with the letter court case, isn't it? It's pretty much the same wording, just over a different kind of storyline. But it's so bizarre that anyone would believe that the palace told Meghan to do something, and she actually did it. More importantly, given that we now know what we know about finding freedom authors and she fed information, don't you think that she might have fed to Omid at some point? The palace forced me to change my child's birth certificate because they're trying to erase me from history. Royal family bad, Meghan good. So I did kind of read into it, and it was stated somewhere, I can't remember because I've looked at so many articles, that Christian names, the mother's full names and father's full name, are meant to be on the birth certificates of non-royal children. Well, Catherine's quite happily got Catherine Elizabeth, Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Cambridge, on all three of hers. The same as we saw the original birth certificates for all three of her children with William's signature. We've seen William's and Harry's birth certificates with Charles's signature. But you know, the one birth certificate that I managed to look through, and I've looked through lots of royal children recently, the one birth certificate that doesn't have an actual signature is Harry's. Because what that is, the one that was released to the media that we can access on the internet, is not the original birth certificate when the child is born and signed off. This is one that if you ordered a copy, I had to order a copy of my birth certificate for when I got married because we couldn't find my birth certificate, annoying, since naturally got located after I paid the fee for a copy. But again, it's all these weird anomalies that have come up with why has Archie's birth been such an absolute mystery? Why has it been so confusing? Why has nothing been straightforward? Why would the palace demand Meghan remove her names off the birth certificate? But can you seriously imagine Meghan and Harry, after everything that's happened, that they would let someone dictate to them their child's birth certificate, that Meghan had to remove her name? I don't think so. And a major reason, or many reasons why I don't think so, is look at it this way. Ever since Meghan's got pregnant, they have gone against every tradition that the royal family has ever had. But they did it their way. Meghan didn't want any royal doctors coming near her. You know, male and pale and stale. She didn't want the Queen's top doctors, some of the best doctors in the entire world, managing her pregnancy or to confirm her pregnancy. Meghan didn't want to give birth at St Mary's Hospital where William and Harry were born, where Catherine, gave birth to George and Charlotte and Louis. No, she didn't want to do that. But not only did she say she didn't want to do that, there was a swipe put out, if you all remember, that she didn't want to parade straight after giving birth on the steps of St Mary's Hospital. Obviously a swipe at Catherine, probably forgetting that Diana did the same with William and Harry. Now, knowing what we know with Meghan's obsession with Diana, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Come on guys, bit weird that she wouldn't want to stand on the exact same steps that Diana stood on. holding baby Archie, proud as anything to go down in the history books. But no, they wanted it all kept secret. We weren't allowed to know when she was giving birth. We weren't allowed to know what hospital she was going to. They didn't even tell Harry's family when she gave birth. Do you remember there was a mass miscommunication at the time? They put down to like a admin clerical error. Yeah, sure, right. The sign got put up outside Buckingham Palace saying that she had just given birth, and she'd apparently given birth 11 hours beforehand. There were no signatures on the birth announcement that Catherine had for all of their children. No, there was none of that. Again, this raises a lot of questions. And I know that some people get really upset with a lot of the theories that are out there, but they haven't helped themselves. Then they wanted to keep the christening completely private, despite having a very luxurious taxpayer-funded lifestyle, really. But of course, the fan base defended that, going, well, why should they parade their child? It was a christening. I mean, it's not like we were expecting them to walk out like Lion King holding him up. Well, Lion King's probably a bad terminology. But, you know, old Rafiki stood there, be Prince Charles holding him up as everyone sings. No, it wasn't. It was just a christening. It's just a few pictures of guests arriving at christening. But no, they didn't want to do that. The godparents had to be secret. Everything had to be secret. They did absolutely everything that they wanted to, despite it going across tradition and protocol, and it caused a lot of upset. They just did a bit, don't care. So you're now trying to tell us that they tried to dictate to Meghan that she needed her names removed off her child's birth certificate. I'm calling BS here, guys. Total bullshit. Now, you can really go down a rabbit hole here, and there are lots of, I say conspiracy theories, lots of theories out there that, you know, a surrogate was used. There was too much going on with that pregnancy, which also didn't make sense. But just say all the surrogacy stuff is wrong. Perhaps she did wear a moon bump for a while just to make the pictures look more prominent. She wanted the world to know. Stranger things have happened. She is a narcissist after all. You know, look at me, look at me, look at me. And then naturally she gained weight towards the end of the pregnancy. As I said, there's so many anomalies and things that have happened throughout pretty much their entire relationship that you're just like, I don't know what's going on anymore. But this does raise one serious question for me, though. How could Harry do this? If this has all just been deliberate, all this cloak and dagger, smoke and mirrors, whatever you want to call it, lying and pretending and deliberately hiding stuff and deliberately giving as much misinformation, their favourite word, out there on the internet because it was Harry's little kind of way of getting revenge on the media and the public, some weird little vendetta that he's still kind of battling with. The only person that he has actually caused, when it will be trauma to, is going to be Archie. Harry knows what it was like growing up. He had so many cruel stories come out about James Hewitt being his father. It followed him throughout his entire life, and some people are still convinced James Hewitt is his father. I personally don't believe that because he looks too much like Charles and too much like Philip. And there are certain aspects when you see Harry pull faces. He's Spencer, but he's more Diana's brother side of the Spencer family rather than like William and Diana. I guess the more male side, which would make sense. But Harry knows what it's like to grow up with that sort of speculation. And what has he done to his son? If he'd have just been honest and they'd just been open, but even like this Christmas card that they just did, a cartoon caricature of an original photograph that's not actually showing Archie. It's bizarre. He's coming over to England in summer and he is yet again leaving Archie with Meghan at home. It's bizarre. Why are they hiding that child? Where is he? You get stories that he doesn't go to playgroup because Meghan's too famous. They don't take him out Christmas tree shopping. He's not seen anywhere doing anything apart from some really weird Photoshop picture that I saw of Doria pushing him in a 1980s stroller wearing winter clothing. It was all very odd. It never made it into mainstream media because apparently it got, I don't know, thrown out, or there was an embargo, or it was just Photoshop. Either way, they are definitely hiding Archie. And I know some of the fans are they're trying to protect him from people like you, from his cruel, nasty family. Get a grip, will you? There are so many good members of that royal family. Look how William's grown up. Look how Catherine has moulded into that family. Look at their children, how happy and healthy that they are. Look at Sophie's children. They are growing up to be normal kids. They are growing up in a very, very healthy environment. The Cambridges have shown that they have changed the fishbowl mentality. They give a little bit and then they take a bit. People love seeing the pictures of the Cambridge children stuff, and people would have loved seeing pictures of Archie. People loved Harry, but they've turned it into some bitter kind of warfare game. But it makes no sense, because now Archie is going to spend the rest of his life with people saying that Harry's not his dad, Meghan's not his mum, they used a surrogate. There's just so many rumours, but Harry and Meghan have deliberately done that to Archie, and that to me upsets me in a way, because how can you say you want to protect your child, but you, all of this again, you've thrown him under the media spotlight yet again. He's not even 2. And still, I'm not quite done. There has been another grenade thrown, but this time from the palace over Montecito. I kid you not. Russell Myers, he's one of the royal reporters that's worked with the royal family for years, goes on tours and stuff. He has actually found out from a source. Now, I know some people get really confused with this whole source thing. Royal reporters and decent, and I say decent, media outlets have reputable sources. They're not going to be taking any say-so from any Tom, Dick and Harry off the street, you know. And the royal family themselves, you're not going to have Prince Charles speaking directly to the media refuting a claim or something, or Prince William. They have members of staff, or they have, you know, certain people that they go to that then will then feed bits and bobs to the media. So what bomb was thrown? The palace has defended itself and actually said that Meghan ordered her staff to make these changes to the birth certificate. Meghan ordered her staff. The staff members that did the amendments actually worked for Sussex Royal at Kensington Palace. So Meghan ordered her staff to do this. So why on earth did Meghan stick her head above the parapet when this story first came out, rather than just maybe staying quiet, not saying anything? She's technically, if this is true, made up a huge lie and said, Buckingham Palace made me do it, they dictated. For such a strong, female, empowered feminist that she is, she does enough get pushed around by the palace when it suits her, doesn't it? So this is actually huge now. It's not so much that Meghan's names have come to the birth certificate, it's about what's happened since. It's the fact that it made traction in the media, people were talking about it, but Meghan, less than 24 hours, has gone, I'm going to correct this, the palace made me do it. And then it turns out the palace, who usually, everyone knows the saying, never complain, never explain. I think that she was a bit dependent on that, don't you? And this time she bit off more than she could chew. Maybe the palace has decided finally they have had enough. We know from the court case that's coming up, we have four members of ex-Sussex royal staff that are going to speak on behalf of, well, not on behalf, but they're going to explain more to do with the letter because they want to level the playing field. This particular source has turned around and said, no, this is not true. Buckingham Palace are bewildered yet again why Meghan is saying these accusations, and it's actually Meghan herself that ordered this to be done. So I'm now waiting on my social media, like, are we going to have another firing shot from Montecito? Because, so the major story here is not what actually happened to the birth certificate, it's more to do with the fact that Meghan has accused the palace of making her do it, and the palace have come back and turned around and said she ordered her staff to do it. Which again brings us back round, we've come full circle now. I'm close to ending the video, hang on to your heads because it's been a bit of a brain scramble with a video. Why would she change Archie's birth certificate? Why would she remove her Christian names off her child's birth certificate? Why would anyone do that? Is it because Harry is actually the only parent and they did use a surrogate? Is there something weird going on there? Why on earth would they open themselves up to that sort of speculation? They said that it was to do with trying to make sure that Meghan's names appeared on all legal documents accurately. So you're telling me that she, on all of her legal documents, driver's licenses, passports, she is no longer Meghan Rachel or Rachel Meghan Markle. Obviously she loses the surname, but she's now just known as the entity, the Duchess of Sussex, like Cher and Prince. Was this another manipulative move? So when the Queen does potentially go to take their titles, Meghan can turn around and say, well, you can't because that's the only name that I have now. I've been to Depot or whatever they have in the States where you can change your name. What's going to happen if they do divorce and Harry keeps the dukedom and Harry remarries? Does that mean that the Duchess of Sussex, Archie, could be just passed around different mums? It doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. But I just thought this was just such a bizarre story where Meghan has caused yet again more drama. For what purpose? For what end? All she's done is just made herself look like a liar. But speaking of a few little lies, I've got some news on Harry's court case, which will be coming to you this week. So I will be back with you very soon. Please write in on this one because misinformation. Who knows what's going on at this point? But I am definitely waiting to see if we have any more drama coming over from Montecito, because I can't quite see that Meghan and Omid are going to take this one lying down. So I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.
If you like my video, please remember to like and subscribe. Please, angry typists, you will be blocked, so save your fingers the time. If you would like to buy me a coffee, please go to my About page and click the link. Love, Taz.